Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Women in Math and STEM, where our mission is to reach out to as many professionals, aspiring professionals, students, whatever you name it. We try to reach out to them, essentially support the initiative of bringing more women and young girls into the STEM field. So, with that being said, as always, feel free to open up the description or transcript to better follow along, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hello, and thank you so much for coming to this episode today and speaking with me. Just to sort of start off, do you mind briefly introducing yourself, as well as sort of walking us through your journey in math?
My name's Jo Boaler. I'm a professor of mathematics education at Stanford University. And my journey with maths, well, I originally started off in science. So I chose science at university and then became a maths teacher in London schools, decided to take more maths and took a maths degree at the Open University in England. Um, Decided I was really interested in the learning of maths, took a maths education master's course, then a PhD at London University, and then I came to Stanford.
Sounds good. I was just wondering what exactly inspired you to sort of focus on changing students' perceptions of math and fostering a growth mindset versus like the traditional or the typical or traditional ways of teaching math.
Yeah, I think I first became aware that maths could be better when I was in school as a child. I was pretty good at maths. A lot of my friends found it more difficult, and when they tried to get the teacher to help them, the teacher wasn't very helpful, and I would help them. And I was like, oh, this is wrong. Why is this not being taught in a way that it's really, helpful for all the kids? And so I think I had that awareness even when I was in school. And then I took a year's teaching credential at London University where I was taught a different way to teach that was more visual and creative and open, and had a lot of success with that teaching in London schools. And then for my PhD, I know there's a lot of debate about how to teach maths well. So I decided to study that with different school approaches and found that a school that used sort of project-based maths, where kids were exploring and working on bigger projects, did a lot better. So I was starting to learn that, giving kids this space to do these applied projects is and applied problems is better than sitting and listening to a teacher. They learn better. And I became more interested in mindset when I moved to Stanford and I met Carol Dweck. She had at that point only made mindset interventions for students. And I said to her, why don't we try and get it more to maths teachers? And she thought that was a good idea. And soon after that, we started YouCubed, where we started sharing on our website lots of mindset ideas and resources. And I made an online class to get the ideas directly to kids that's still going, a free little 6 session class. And over 2 million people have taken that now. Um, so yeah, that's my journey, I think, with teaching differently, with seeing the impact of more open, creative teaching, and also the importance of mindset.
Sounds good. I was wondering if you could speak a little bit more about YouCubed and sort of how exactly do you incorporate these open and creative strategies into your math lessons?
Yeah, so YouCubed, we started about 11 years ago now. And at first on YouCubed, we put my online class that I'd made, and we started sharing a few tasks that we thought were really engaging for kids. One of the first ones we put up there turned out to be wildly popular and was one I'd used in my teaching in London, is called Four Fours. So the task is you have four fours, no more, no less, just four fours. And can you make every number from 1 to 20 with those four fours in any operation? So people love that task. More people started coming to the website, and now we have hundreds of free tasks on the website. They're all, I think, cool and engaging. And so a lot of teachers come to get those tasks, but we also have videos that we've made for students. I made them with my undergrads at Stanford, so they were kind of fun to tell kids about their brains and mindset and doing maths differently. So now we have so much on the website, it's kind of hard to find things. Um, but we have tasks, we have lessons, we have papers and info for parents and leaders. We have a whole data science section where we're bringing data ideas into maths. So yeah, there's really a lot on there now, and it's all free.
That sounds amazing. I was also just curious, like, how exactly do you measure like success in math? If it like because I know like I guess the traditional way is like how accurate or how fast you can solve problems.
Mm. Well, one of the things we really try and message is that math shouldn't be about speed. And actually, if you go out into the world, there isn't really a single situation where you have to be speedy with maths. It's only really in school that we make kids do things quickly. And so it's a shame because a lot of kids are put off by maths if they're not fast. But mathematicians, I work with a lot of mathematicians, and many of them will share they're not fast with numbers. They're very slow. They think deeply and slowly. So I definitely don't agree with timed assessments. Um, I like that there's a whole movement in education to assess students um, through the work they do in class rather than a final test. So as students are working on projects or on activities, those can be a part of an assessment. Um, Also, a whole movement called Assessment for Learning that really prioritizes giving students feedback on their work. A test usually just gives you a mark, a grade, but if you actually get feedback, like this is really good, you need to work more on this, try and bring in this approach, that really accelerates people's learning. So that's called formative assessment, and we are big advocates of that in classrooms.
That makes a lot of sense. I was also just curious, like with all the technological advancements going on currently, what your belief or like what you believe the role of technology is or will be in math in the future or currently.
Yeah, I mean, I think technology is a really powerful tool. I think we could all probably agree with that. And I love technology sites that are dedicated to maths, like Wolfram Alpha. I don't know if you know that one. Is a really great site. And Wolfram technology actually powers Siri and Alexa as well. It's very powerful. And they've made a great site to help people with their mathematical thinking. So I think technology is important, and I think we can students can access that in classrooms. And Conrad Wolfram is one of the people I admire and follow. He's one of the leaders of Wolfram Alpha, and he's written books and done a lot of things which really say, why aren't we teaching maths, recognizing that computers exist in the world? And he's made a whole high school curriculum that takes out all the sort of doing calculations by hand that in the world you would really use a computer for. Um, and that opens up space for kids to do more building models, building mathematical models and making sense of things and applying ideas to new situations instead of doing these long by hand calculations. So I think we should be bringing technology in. I don't think technology is a replacement for kids thinking. I My most valuable area to me in knowledge is number sense. And so I wouldn't say kids just use a calculator, they don't develop number sense. But I think when you develop these core mathematical concepts and then can use technology to help with, things with a lot of computation in them.
I see, that makes a lot of sense. I was also just curious about sort of like outside of YouCubed, what projects or initiatives you're currently working on to promote a positive math learning experience.
Well, one I'm very excited about is Struggly. Struggly is a new online tool, mainly K8 at the moment, and mindset messages to kids on in a little maths tool. I've had a lot of app designers over the years say, will you work with us? And I look at their app and it's sort of all about speed and calculations. So, but this, I was approached by a really great design firm in Germany. And the mother, one of the leaders, her daughter had terrible maths anxiety. She was 8. And she came to me and said, we've been doing your tasks, and now she loves maths and she's top of her class. And she said, we have to get this out to more kids. So we together made Struggly. They had the great design tools that engineers to put online a lot of our tasks so that kids can, and games, kids can play them directly. And then what I love about Struggly is you get messages, you get badges when you make mistakes and when you struggle. So it's really trying to encourage kids' growth mindset. So it's pretty different to other things. So that's ongoing. Love. It's sort of new-ish, but is doing really well. And then I have a new book, talking of ish, it's called Mathish, and that's a book for teachers to help them bring creativity into maths. Um, and I've just finished a new book about data in education that's called Data Minds, that's helping teachers use data to develop kids' data thinking. And that's going to come out in August. So I've been pretty busy with that. So yeah, lots of things.
That sounds really awesome. I was wondering, like, with all these experiences and sort of like things you've done, sort of what you find most rewarding about teaching or working with students to change their perceptions or helping them foster this growth mindset.
Well, I think working with students is very rewarding. I love to teach. As an example, I teach a class of undergrads at Stanford. It's a class called How to Learn Maths, and it's always oversubscribed. I have a list of students who want to take it, and they come in and they've often been very successful. They've got to Stanford, but maths to them is just a list of procedures and things to memorize. So they come to my class and I teach them about mindset and struggle, and I give them these open, creative tasks, and their minds are blown. They um, haven't thought that they could struggle and all the mindset ideas, but also they've never seen maths in these ways. And so it really broadens their minds and gets them thinking differently about maths. Some say they're now going to take maths classes at Stanford. They before that they were dead turned off from math. So it's really rewarding, particularly if people haven't heard these ideas or experienced maths in these creative ways.
That sounds really phenomenal. And then, sort of to end off, I was wondering if you had any advice for high school students who may currently be struggling in math but still want to keep going and keep trying.
But still, what? So it cut off at the end.
Oh, all good, but sort of want to like keep going or keep trying but are just frustrated.
Um, my advice for students, high school students, any students, is definitely to know that really the best times for your brain are when you're struggling, and you want to be what is known as on the edge of your understanding, where you're making mistakes, correcting them, making more mistakes. Being on that edge is where the greatest knowledge development comes, where creativity comes, where all the good stuff comes, really. You don't want to be finding stuff easy. You want to be pushing yourself to be on that edge. And so if something is difficult for you, maybe it's maths, that's good. If you can keep going, that's what's really important. Not that you find it difficult, but that you're willing to keep going and get through the difficulty. That's going to be super enriching for your brain and develop those maths pathways. And then something I tell my undergrads that they find helpful is you really only learn maths by doing maths. And so it's not helpful to watch somebody else do maths. Not that helpful. You can get some ideas. It's not helpful to study for an exam by reading through and highlighting. What you need to be doing is doing the questions doing, because it's actually the doing of maths that lays down brain pathways. So always giving yourself puzzles or giving yourself little assessments or any way that you can get yourself doing maths. Maybe you do some maths puzzles, maybe you get some puzzle books, will really be great for your brains. So yeah, those are my messages.
Sounds good. Well, I guess thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and being able to make it today. I really appreciated you sharing sort of your story, your experiences, as well as your advice. Thank you.
Yeah, good to talk to you. Take care.